Right, welcome to Both Sides Sometimes Call myself Ashley and Edward. Good morning, Edward.
Hello, Ashley. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Ed, done it again. Stop giving away the topic.
Oh,
Unbelievable.
so go in front. Yeah, go in front of it.
Yes, the topic is Daniel's obsession, Daniel Craig's obsession with fluffy toys. Right. Anyway, and James, welcome, James. How are you all?
Hello, you okay?
Yes, very good, thanks. No spoilers there in James's house. Good,
It
good.
kind of
Like
is
that.
actually. Yeah, because I'm decorating my daughter's bedroom and I painted the walls, so I took all the posters down. I didn't want to get spoiled. So there is actually a Billie Eilish poster behind me, which,
Uh,
yeah, so kind of, but you'd have to, it's a pretty abstract kind of spoiler.
you know, when I was a kid, and probably still want to do it now. It's just I don't have a wall big enough or will be allowed. I always wanted to paint the gun barrel logo on one of my walls in my
Mm,
house. I don't know why, really. Just so I could.
that's cool.
I thought it'd be cool, but then it wouldn't be, would I? Because it wouldn't be because I'd have to actually film myself, and then that'd be yeah. Anyway, the things I get up to, in my head. And so we're here to talk about Daniel Craig and his obsession with cuddly toys from 2020. We might as well also talk about No Time to Die, I suppose, as well. Um, do you know what? I'm gonna go to Ed in a minute on this one because we've kind
Okay.
of I know what his take on it is going to be because we had a little bit of conflict. Um, shall I give my little summary first, though? Yeah, might as well because it'll be quick. Uh, it's Daniel Craig. No more needs to be said. Now, do you know what? I watched it. I didn't watch it in the. Did I watch it in the theater cinema? Sorry, no, I didn't because I was like, no. But I did watch it, and I suppose at the end there was a tear in my eye, maybe, just because it's like, oh, this is the end of the James Bond character. But the rest of the film, it didn't need making. Oh, and you know the other thing that really annoys me is when they go on about Daniel Craig and it's like, they show that clip all the time where he's like crying a little bit towards the end, and he goes, I know a lot of things said about me and blah blah blah, and he goes, but you were really really special to me, and then he cries and then goes off set, and everyone goes, he's a professional actor. He can turn on cries whenever he wants to. It's not real, in my opinion. Sorry. It's rubbish. Daniel Craig just on an ego trip. All he wanted to do was kill off Bond from day one, I think. He just wanted to have his own little universe bubble, which he's got. And guess what? He's bloody ruined it for everyone now because we're 6 years on and we still don't even have a new film because of you, Daniel Craig. In fact, I've not enjoyed a James Bond film for about 21 years since the announcement. Anyway, apparently he's a big fan of mine. So, sorry. So, probably when he hears this, he's going to cry.
That's a
So,
passionate summary. I like it.
it's just it didn't right. He should have stopped at Skyfall. Yeah. Well, Casino Royale, good. Um, Quantum of Solace. Oh, it was during the writer's strike. Yeah, no, it was just crap because you're in it. And then Skyfall. Okay, I will give you that. It was very good. Lots of callbacks, and I do like Skyfall. So, out of 5 movies that he's made, I like one of them. What's that tell you? And I don't even like all of that. So I don't think I need to go on anymore about what I think about this film because it's just not very constructive. And now over to Ed.
Yeah. So thanks for that, Ash. Funny on this. Um, I think I was caught up with the hype of it and watching it in the cinema. I absolutely loved it. I was hanging on every beat, hanging on every word that was said in it. I remember sort of when right towards the end when he gives it, we found out it's his daughter his jumper. I said to Haley, I don't think he's coming back from this. And she goes, that's Bond. But and I loved the ending, and I loved the bit with her driving off in the car with a little girl. With we have all the time in the world, and with sort of with hindsight and having read all the books, I really like how it's sort of an adaptation of the book of You Only Live Twice, which is probably my favorite of the Bond books. I did like Rami Malek as Safan. I thought he was a really good villain. Didn't see what everyone's problem was. But then I remember saying to young Xander, I loved that one. That was brilliant. It's one of the best Bond films. And he was 15 at the time, and he said to me, it's recency bias, Dad. You watch it again in 6 months, you won't like it as much. And he was right, because it was like fast food. It was like, oh, the whole hype of going to the cinema for the first time after the COVID pandemic, of it being the first Bond film in a long, long time, how it had been delayed and delayed and delayed, of knowing it was the last Daniel Craig Bond film, which again, I'm not a massive fan of his as Bond. I'm a very much a fan of his as an actor. I think he's a great actor. If you get the chance, watch the film Queer because he's amazing in it. But not a fan of his Bond. But I got caught up in the moment with it, which that's fine. I mean, I got caught up on all the feels and all the emotion of it. And then you step back and you watch it outside the bubble of the time it was in. You think, yeah, it was all right. The plot, it's okay. I think a lot of things in it work once and they work when you're there. So it's a great cinema experience, but potentially not a great Bond film. That's my way of looking at it. You know, they went there, they killed off Bond, fantastic. They actually went there rather than him having some sort of gadget that Q gave him that would get him out of it, like I can imagine Roger on the front, like pressing a button, and his Union flag umbrella would come out, and he'd stop all the missiles with it, and he'd say something, a pithy quip about I don't know, I don't know what he'd say. Roger would say it a lot better than I could. But no, they actually went there and killed him off, which was very, very brave for one of the biggest franchises in film ever. But yeah, I think it's like when you go and have McDonald's, you love it at the time, but then you compare it to your nice meal that's cooked at home for you, and you realize it wasn't that good, really. So that's my opinion of it.
Roger would have said, "Well, that Bond." Anyway, so
Oh, very good. Yeah, very good.
so, um, before we move on to James, for because might got a bit passionate there. Obviously, I'm not saying that when Daniel Craig had that tearful moment, he was acting. He just might have been. Thank you. Right, move on to James.
Oh, before James, can I just say one more thing? Sorry, I'm like Columbo here. Just one more thing. I do my idea for carrying on the series as well is Bond's partner. I can't remember the name of the actress that plays. I can't remember the character's name, and his daughter again can't remember the character's name. She says she's putting her to bed, the little girl to bed at night, and she goes, "I'm going to tell you a story about your daddy. He was he was an important guy. His name was Bond, James Bond." And because you're seeing it from the little girl's point of view, it doesn't have to be the same actor because this is what she thinks it's like. And then we just go on from there, and that's the intro to it, and it carries on. It's almost like her telling stories about him.
That's cool. You get like an expanded universe thing there.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure they'll go down now. Yeah. Cool.
So if you're watching this, guys, because you've not even cast anyone after years, that's how you're going to start it. So do that bit, yeah. Bond, James Bond, then the gun barrel starts, and then you're off. You're in a parallel universe. Then doesn't matter about the continuity. Yeah. There we go.
Anyway, I apologize, James. Sorry for
no apologies. Goodness me. Yeah. All right. Well, you guys both. I have a different opinion to your fine selves about Daniel Craig. Per se, because we had that lovely chat about Casino Royale, which is one of my top two of all time. I've no issue at all with his portrayal of the character. I think it's great, and I do like seeing that journey of him. The whole point, I suppose, of his tenure was he becomes the polished Bond that we know from the original timeline. I think once you get to Spectre, that kind of ends, and they didn't really know where to go with it, because in Skyfall he is very much the finished article. Spectre, I just don't like that film. I'm just not a fan of it at all. We talked about it. The whole Bond and Blofeld as brothers thing is ridiculous. I don't know how any room, any production of that quality, nobody stopped and thought this is cliche to high heaven. We need to stop this, and it spoiled it. And they seem to very casually dismiss that element in the Blofeld cameo in No Time to Die. So yeah, I mean, my reaction at the time was very similar to yours. It was the first time I took the kids to a Bond film. Georgia was probably a little bit too young to see it, to be honest, but she wanted to go because Billie Eilish was doing the song. And then after the song was over, is it over yet? No, you got 3 hours of this shit. Sorry. Tim enjoyed it, and it was nice. You're watching a Bond with the kids, so it was not that was a nice experience, and a bit similar to yourself. I was finding things that jarred with me that I didn't like during it, but overall, being in the cinema, it was yeah, I enjoyed the experience of it. I'm not particularly bothered by them having killed him off. I don't think it was anywhere near as big a deal as they made it out to be, because they had been quite clear from the start this was a new iteration. This Bond was in his own particular timeline, unconnected to the rest. So clearly, the next actor is going to be, in their own. Can't see them reverting to the original. So yeah, whatever. Fine, and it was very nicely done. And yeah, I think the acting overall from everybody was superb. I agree with you. I think Safin was a great character, so really interesting character. Played or anyone in what they were asked to do. But even at the time, even though I did enjoy it at the time, it was so riddled with things that annoyed me. And then when I did rewatch it, they just became overwhelming. Yes, I like callbacks. I like the fan wanky stuff to an extent. I like seeing the Aston Martin from The Living Daylights, the Volante, whatever it was. I love that. That's probably one of my favorite Bond car to look at. I think it's gorgeous. So it's nice to see. No real reason at all for it to be there. It doesn't serve the narrative. And the immense callbacks to On Her Majesty's Secret Service was so overdone and so repetitive. It got to a point where it felt almost like they were trying to remake what was and is one of the best Bond films in the series, having All the Time in the World play at the end. The continuous references to it became intrusive, and no point to be there. It was always like I had that same issue with Die Another Day, which again I enjoyed it at the time, but it was so full of callbacks that they became a distraction. And I'll have callbacks, have that kind of fan service stuff if you want, but it's got to serve a purpose in the plot. There's got to be a reason for it. And in this one, all of the Majesty's Secret Service stuff was so in your face and so out there that it just became. Look, this film that we did in 1969 was really, really, really good, and so we're going to make you have throwbacks to it all the way through this film. And no, just make your own damn film. I didn't buy the story they were telling because I thought the emotion side of Bond finding out he's got a kid, never being able to see her again, even if he survives. Emotionally, it's good. In terms of even the in-universe explanation, it just doesn't make sense. In nanobots, give him an EMP pulse or whatever through his body, he could treat that. There's ways out of it. It's not the big bad that it's made out to be. I don't buy. Again, they kind of shot themselves in the foot, and it all goes back to Casino Royale being Craig's high point, and everything that they tried since then being a less good version of that. You keep referencing Eva Green as Vesper, who was brilliant. I think the chemistry between those two in that film was amazing, and she was phenomenal, one of my favorite Bond girls. It just goes to emphasize that Madeleine Swann is not her. And with the best one in the world, and absolutely not disparaging the actress in any way, that she was great at her role, but the chemistry was not there. I don't buy Bond falling for her in the same way that he had fallen for Vesper. So I don't care. I don't care about their relationship at all. At all. It just means nothing to me. Blofeld, okay, great. See him back. Hopefully, let's have a bit less of the Secret Brothers thing, and then you just dispatch him in a very casual way. It felt like he was trying to be too clever, too arty, and I don't know if it was this one or Spectre where they were making this big old thing that they want about the Bond film to get an Oscar or something. So, yeah, okay, they probably deserve them in some ways, but you're not making an art film; you're making a Bond film, and I think they lost sight of that. I do think, if we say it about View to a Kill, or a lot of people do, Roger stayed on one Bond too long. I think Daniel definitely did. Spectre presented, much as I dislike the film, it presented a natural end to his character's arc, and him driving off into the sunset or whatever it was he was doing in the Aston was the way to end it. He shouldn't have come back for this. This film, to be honest, should not have been as it was. I believe it caused a bit of internal division. This decision to kill off Bond caused a lot of inattention. May ultimately, who knows? It's all hypothetical. May have led to the decision to sell the franchise. There are bits of this film I enjoy. I like Daniel Craig's Bond. Didn't particularly enjoy him in this. I did enjoy the Felix interaction. I thought actually it's a bit strong. If you're going to kill Bond, you're killing Felix as well. It makes sense, I suppose, in the way their journeys together, and I buy them as friends. It's one of the issues with a lot of Felix and Bond presentations, that you don't always buy them as being equals. Felix is often presented as this bumbling sidekick character, played for laughs, and he's not here. You can absolutely buy Jeffrey Wright and Daniel Craig's versions of the characters going on missions together and being very, very capable together. And that did, have a lump in my throat again because I haven't prepped. The character, the female agent who Bond meets when he's gone into the Spectre, and at the start, she was brilliant. She was in there, this amazing fight scene, great chemistry, I thought, and then she was gone. So, well, where's the rest of her? I want her in the rest of the film. And the new 007 was a nice little conceit. I enjoyed that, and the byplay between them was quite fun. Again, nice to see a lot of the regulars, but same with Spectre. I think we see too much of them. I don't necessarily want them to be part of the action in that way through. But yeah, nice to see him. And I suppose the final shot of them all raising the glass to him at the end was nicely done. So yeah, I enjoyed it at the time. I enjoy it less every time I watch it, and the issues I have with it. It feels arrogant, and yeah, Bond should I suppose be arrogant to an extent for everything it's achieved over its million years in cinema, but it felt that touch too much arrogant. They were trying to be something that Bond isn't, and overall the fun wasn't there. They say that a lot about Dalton's Bonds. I disagree. There was just no fun. You didn't come out of there thinking I've had a really good time. You came out of there, oh Christ, he's dead then. That's just an opinion. Maybe that's not a bad thing, but to shake it up a little bit once in a while. But no, it's one that missed for me. Don't like to say it because I like to fly the flag of Mr. Craig with you two, but it did not work. It did not work in what it wanted to do, and I think its concept was flawed. Not because of the death necessarily. It's just, yeah, it was just, we've waited so long for it, and
That's what I meant to say, James. Sorry. Yeah, definitely. I'm sorry I got distracted halfway through. I don't know if you noticed, chaps. Halfway through that, I actually video called the group. I leant over just to put my hand on the side, and I was like, "What's going on?"
Yes, Mr.
So,
Video Call.
yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah, didn't mean to. Sorry, guys. Well, do you know what? Let's give it a score out of 10. I'm going to enjoy this one. Edward, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, I'll start. 2.
Okay. I'm going to give it 5 because there's some things I really like in it, and some things that just, when you actually look at it with an analytical mind, don't work at all. So, say Safan, the fact that, again, we're never really going to see an actual adaptation of You Only Live Twice, but this is the nearest we're going to get to it, and it is my favorite Bond book. The fact that they actually went there and kill Bond off. The sort of I know you said, James, you said about the secondary characters, but it felt to me like the unit family in Doctor Who is almost that sort of feel, and even the fact you've got Blofeld there, like the Master, so it had that sort of family feel to it. So there's some things I like, and some things I didn't. It was just too long and too fast food, so I'm going to give it 5.
Okay. This is going to pain me. There are things I like, just like you, Ed. I think the cast were brilliant. I will not fault any of the acting in there. Um, I do look. I actually really enjoy the Billie Eilish title track. I didn't think I would because she's not really my type of singer, but I thought it was really good. The music was great. Some of the callbacks were nice. Some of the themes were nice, but too long, too ponderous, too self-important. 4.
Okay. 3.6. That's one of our low ones.
Oh,
I would say it
dearie
seems
me.
cool, but it doesn't. Do you know what? I know what you're. I listening to lads. I know there's probably going back to something I want to talk about is killing him off. Yeah, there'll be some people that think that's great. Yeah. All I'm going to say, in my opinion, is it didn't really serve. I mean, what did it make it any better? No. All it's done really is given a quandary. And I don't think you should ever kill James Bond off because I think how James Bond dies and what happens to him it should be your own imagination. You know, does he live happily ever after? Does he get killed by a crocodile when he's because he forgot to put his watch on or something like that? That does so that should be in your head and that should be for every unique for every fan. Don't write a definitive way of killing him off, in my opinion. But with a score of 3.6 on that bombshell, this worked out just as I hoped. I mean, oh, it's such a disappointing score. Sorry. And it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye for me.
And it's goodbye from me.